Hello and welcome to the sixthaxis.com. I'm Stefan and today we've got something quite exciting to do. We've got PlayStation VR and, well, everybody else seems to have done an unboxing video, so we're going to do one as well. But we're also going to show you the mess of cables that you have to deal with when setting everything up as well. So without much further ado, let's get over to the top-down unboxing. First things first, I have to admit, this has already been opened and unpackaged and I have played around with it a bit, but I put everything back exactly where it came from. Now, opening the box, it's actually really quite nicely done. It folds open like that, and as usual, Sony have got the kind of outer box and then inner box as well. But then this opens up like that and it's very, very nice. But let's take this out. So as you can see, it's just a bit of a shell. And I'll put this to one side. Now, within the actual box itself, it's got a little ribbon there, so it stays like this, and we'll get to why I think Sony have done that in a little bit. But for now, you've got this little flyer, and it tells you if you need some more help, you can go to this web address, and there's a QR code, which you can probably scan just about. You also have this nice instruction booklet, which gives you like numbered cables, and the cables are actually numbered, and it runs you through the whole setup process. It's nothing too tricky, but it's nice that that exists. So let's start with this one, because I know what's in it. And this one is the most boring of all of the boxes in here, because it's a power cable. And you will get a different one depending on your region. This box is slightly more exciting in that it has got a nice pair of complementary headphones. You've got a nice micro USB cable. I couldn't find the wrapping for that, I'm afraid. You've got a little power brick, and that power brick powers this, which is the PlayStation VR breakout box type thing. I can't remember exactly what it's called. Now, I'm not sure if you're able to make it out. That's the front, that's the top. There's a nice bit of shiny PlayStation logo which is protected there, and then you've got a sticker which tells you which HDMI port is the in, which one's the out. But where's the HDMI for the PlayStation VR itself, you ask? Well, we'll get to that in one moment. On the back, you've got these two HDMI ports. I'll turn it up this way. You've got these two HDMI ports. The micro USB, which is what that cable was for. A power in, which is the power brick, and also a little fan hole. That's right, there is a fan in this little box, and I'm afraid to say it is kind of audible as you are playing games. Once you've got headphones in, once you've got headphones on, you won't notice it, but if you've got an original style, maybe first year PlayStation 4, it is kind of noticeable and you can hear it. But what I really like about this is that it goes like that, because that is where the cables go for the PlayStation VR, and we'll talk about that in a moment. That gives you very nice access to those, and then it sort of seals them away, so it's kind of half fixed. Now, this is where things get more interesting, but there's some cables here. This is a very, very nice and long, it's about 2 meters, maybe 2.5 meters. I haven't got a measuring tape and measured it, but it's an extension cable, and so these two cables go, these two connections go into the breakout box, and then this is what your PlayStation VR plugs into, because the PlayStation VR itself actually has a rather short cable attached to it. You've got a HDMI cable, just in case you haven't got 17 million of the things already. A couple of books, the manual. You have a good old-fashioned demo disc, and in the EU you have got, let me see, Rigs, PlayStation VR Worlds, Drive Club VR, Tumble VR, Battlezone, Eve Valkyrie Headmaster, and Wayward Sky. You've got demos for all of those games. And then you've got a nice screen cleaner for your PlayStation VR, because you can get a good few smudges on there. Now this is the main event. Got the PlayStation VR itself, and that's how you get it out. And as I said, I've repackaged this, but I remembered how it looks. Get rid of that. And in fact, get rid of this box. Ta-da! So yeah, this is the PlayStation VR itself, and this is what plugs into everything. As you can see, like, this is actually quite a short cable. It's maybe not even a meter long, or maybe it is just a meter long, and that's why you will need this, because chances are you don't sit that close to your TV. And let's look at this headset itself. Now, there's lots of nice things about this. For one thing, it looks pretty snazzy. You've got the LED lights on the corners, and also on the back here and here. This button is quite important because this is how you extend this to put it on your head. And then once it's on your head, you've got this little clicker which lets you tighten things up a little bit further, so it's very, very nice and secure on your face. But the screen itself also, with a button here, comes in and out like so. And that's pretty handy, because it means that you can keep the headset on your head, but then you can see what's in your periphery here. You can also find the right focal point for you and for this particular game, depending on how... box is falling over. Depending on how you put this on your head. And that makes it nice and adjustable. It means that everybody should be able to live quite happily with this on. Stop scratching along the table. One other feature is this, the microphone, which is built in, because you cannot use a traditional gaming headset with the PlayStation VR. Basically, this little breakout box also does 3D audio, and so you want to use just standard stereo headphones. So if you've got something plugged into for chat, for party chat, or on the USB of the actual PlayStation 4, or if you're using something with optical audio out and like a wireless headset, you can't really use those with a PSVR, because that's what does the processing and not the PlayStation 4. Now that you've got everything unpacked, we want to plug things in. So the headset comes last, but first off, you need to plug this into power, into the console, HDMI, USB, all of these things. So what is numbered first? I can't find the number one numbered cable, but that's okay because it's not that important. We'll start with number 2. So this is the USB cable. And because there's no rear-mounted USB on the PS4 Slim or on the original PS4, this has to go in at the front. Let's see. Yes, I got my USB cable the right way up that time. The PS4 Pro does, however, have a rear-mounted cable, so that is nice and easy. Now, I've only got the one HDMI cable here, so this is just for illustrative purposes. But this can go into the back of the PS4. And then into the, it's labelled HDMI PS4 on the back there. Oh, hold it by this part of the console of the little box as opposed to this part, because this bit moves, as we've already covered. Now the other HDMI port, that goes to your TV or monitor or whatever you want to plug it into, and that's fine. To power this, oh, the HDMI cable is number 1. There we go. Number 3 is the power cable, which is, you know, fairly decently long, and that plugs in here. We'll do this with this now, like so. And then that is locked away like that, and it presents a very nice front. But let's just unfurl this to show you just how ridiculously long it is. It's a good few meters. And there we go. This will probably come up to around about your knee, to be honest, because of the length of this cable, depending on how you're sat down. And then it's plugged in like that. And as you can see, this is one hell of a mess of cables, and it's going to add a lot of mess to whatever setup you have at home with your TV or computer, whatever. But one thing is quite nice about this: once you are done with the PlayStation VR, you don't need to pack all of this away. You can leave the extension cable there and everything like that. Just unplug this. Da-da-da-da. Get out your nice protective little film thing. wrap it up a little bit, and then we'll bring this in. And as long as, make sure everything is properly put back to how it was. And there you go. It is nice and secure in its box, and that can go into a corner of the room and keep the PSVR safe until the next time you want to play with it. Alright, that's how you unbox and set up the PlayStation VR, and 1 second. There we go, that's much better. Maybe not for you, but definitely for me. Yeah, as I was saying, that was the unboxing. I hope you enjoyed that video. We've got plenty more PlayStation VR stuff coming. We've got reviews of the VR itself and also of tons of the launch games starting this week and carrying on next week. And in a minute, I'll also be uploading a video showing you some of my hints and tips on how to actually put the headset on, because it's a little bit awkward. It's quite simple, but a little bit awkward, and so there's a couple of things that you might like to know. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.